Vaccines will be given almost every month from birth onwards.
Hi everyone, welcome to Ask Me Doctor Season 2, a video series for you parents to learn more about your child's health. I'm Hazel from motherhood.com.my. How many times in the last few months that we have been talking about vaccines for COVID-19? So knowing the importance of the vaccines, there are still many of us have questions about are vaccines good for our children and how does it work? Today we will speak to Dr Foo Chee Hoe, Paediatrician from Pantai Hospital Ampang, and also Dr Foo Child Specialist Clinic. Hello Dr Foo.
Hi, hello Hazel.
Now let's start with a basic understanding of vaccines. What is vaccine?
Vaccine is a biochemical substance that is created to be administered into the body, usually via injection. Sometimes it will be given via oral liquid, feed into the mouth, with the purpose of triggering, stimulating an immune response in the human body, so much so that you will create antibodies specific to the targeted germs that you want to prevent against. Usually, the germs that are targeted are usually life-threatening disease.
How many types of vaccines are there?
If you want to divide them into method of injection, so most of the vaccines are injectables. Either it's injected into the muscle, intramuscular vaccine, or it is a subcutaneous, so injected into the fat tissue below the skin. Rotavirus vaccine, which is quite popularly well known and accepted, is the rotavirus vaccine. It is given the oral form, and there are still some place and in the past where polio virus is given via oral method. What are the types of vaccines then? A better way to understand vaccine would be to divide them into the live vaccine. They are live but weakened vaccine, which means the vaccine still contain a bit of live form of the bacteria or the virus, but they are much weakened, okay? They are weakened, so it will not cause the disease, but it will trigger an immune response. There are also the inactivated ones. They are not alive. They are inactivated. It's a killed kind of virus. Usually you will see this in the 5-in-1 vaccine, the pertussis vaccine, the diphtheria vaccine, all that. Okay, and then you will have the conjugated vaccine, recombined vaccine. That is the more modern one. It contains a specific part of the virus or bacteria by their recombinant technology. So they conjugate the proteins that consist of the specific part of the germ, which will then help the person to trigger a very specific response, a bit more long-lasting kind of response to the specific pathogen, the germ that will cause the disease. Then you also have the antitoxoid vaccine, like the tetanus antitoxoid vaccine. It targets against the toxin, not really against the germ itself, not the structure of the germ, the bacteria, the virus, but against the toxin that is produced by the bacteria. So your body will be immune to the toxin.
Now, Dr. Foo, how many vaccines are recommended for my child?
Vaccines will be given almost every month from birth onwards. There's a list of compulsory vaccines, which means it is already listed in the national vaccine schedule, in a Malaysian national vaccine schedule. So at birth, the child will be given their first dose of hepatitis B and also BCG vaccine. At 1 month of life, they'll be given a second dose of hepatitis B, and also from second month onwards, you will receive the 5-in-1 vaccine, which is the diphtheria, pertussis vaccine, anti-tetanus vaccine, Haemophilus influenza, and polio virus vaccine. This is 5 types of germs combined into one. There are also additional vaccines which is very important for pediatrician, which is the pneumococcal vaccine. It can be given as early as 2 months old, or then it will be given every 2 monthly. So you can say that almost every month there will be a set of vaccines to be given to the baby.
Okay, so then yes, that sounds like a lot, but I'm sure it's important. So can you share with us why are vaccines important?
Vaccines are important because this is the way we can achieve immunity against the germ, the pathogen that cause life-threatening diseases. Just like look at the current, we are now speaking in an era of the COVID pandemic, right? Despite so much of lockdown, social distancing, we are unable to achieve total protection. We are not able to gain good control over this virus, this invisible enemy, right? So vaccine is very important for us to really achieve a herd immunity where we can count on the fact that everyone will be protected against the specific germ that can cause life-threatening disease, because vaccine can be given to a lot of people in a safe manner, achieving the immunity without paying a high price.
Well, we also understand that medicines also have their side effects. So is there any side effects for vaccine?
Vaccines can cause some side effects just like any other medicine. Usually the side effects that we encounter will be some low-grade fever, painful red swelling at the site of injection, but usually they are nothing major. They should resolve in a few days' time. Sometimes the vaccine may also cause allergic reaction, so you end up have a bit of redness, some rashes, hives, urticaria. But then again, those also will resolve by itself. But of course, we will look at allergy a bit more carefully, and we need to determine whether it's suitable to be given the booster doses for the same vaccine. But it's extremely rare to have very bad side effects.
Are vaccine shots more dangerous compared to the disease that is preventing?
That is definitely no. First of all, the doctor's basic principle is do not do any harm, do no harm, right? Why would we create a vaccine that may do more harm than the disease that we are trying to prevent, right? Actually, in this world, there are so many other viruses that we do not have a vaccine against. The common cold virus, those rhinoviruses, which we would not have the desire to develop a vaccine, because we are now targeting those that potentially are life-threatening, like diphtheria, like pneumococcal infection, tuberculosis, meningococcal infection. These can really cause death and disability and severe complications. Vaccines at most usually are the very normal, minor side effects that I mentioned just now. Of course, I cannot say all vaccine is perfect and perfectly safe. There are nothing adverse ever happened before, but it's extremely rare. The chances will be 1 in a few 100,000 or 1 in a million AIDS patients or cancer patients who are receiving chemotherapy. Now, these people are not qualified to take the vaccines, which is why it is very important for healthy people to take the vaccines so that we do not infect them. But suppose that we do not recognize that the patient is immunocompromised and they end up receiving the vaccine, and that can be fatal.
Are there any other methods to protect my babies from diseases instead of using vaccines?
I would want to emphasize that we should not ask the word instead, right? Of course, you can say besides. Of course, we cannot just very complacent, I received vaccines already, therefore I do not need to care, no need to jaga, just my child will not fall sick. The basic preventive methods such as ensuring hand hygiene, distancing from other people if you're not well, disinfection, cleanliness, those are very important, because there are so many other viruses, common cold viruses, that are not protected by vaccines. There are only a limited list of vaccines which are available to be given to children, and usually they are targeted against life-threatening infections like meningococcal, tuberculosis, pneumococcal vaccine, influenza, diphtheria and all that. There are so many cough and cold viruses which vaccine will not protect against, because usually they are very mild. It is not cost-effective and not necessary to protect them against those common colds.
Dr. Foo, why does my children has to get vaccinated from a disease that I've never encountered before?
There's a reason why we have never encountered those diseases before. We are the younger generation of paediatrician, right? We have not seen much cases of diphtheria. We have not seen polio, which is not a bad thing at all. It's actually very good that we do not encounter these diseases so frequently anymore. That's because of the success of the vaccination program. Without vaccine like polio virus vaccine, without diphtheria vaccine, then we will keep on seeing them. Our hospital would still be loaded with this infectious disease, right? But if we become complacent and we say, I do not encounter them anymore, no need lah, then we will see a resurgence of such infection. We will see a repeat outbreaks of these viruses that we are supposed to have achieved control against. A good example would be measles vaccine, right? Due to a lot of misunderstanding and misconception, measles vaccine was avoided, and you see a surge of measles infection in the United States, and that alone have caused more than 100,000 deaths. See, it's not as well publicized as COVID, but we forgot, about things that can happen if we. So, to maintain control over these viruses, right? To maintain the herd immunity, parents must participate too. It's a collective effort. Once a sizable enough population who gave up on vaccines, then we will lose the herd immunity, and then he will encounter back again all these very scary kind of infections. Can I give more than one vaccine in the same day? Please consult your paediatrician. If your paediatrician says yes, you can, please go ahead lah. Otherwise, you will end up taking a lot of leaves. You have to take a lot of your time to make appointments to get the vaccines, which will be not practical, causing delay of vaccines and causing more trauma, more crying to the child.
Thank you, Dr. Foo, for answering our question today. For more videos about children's health, stay tuned for our next video on Ask Me Doctor. Thank you for watching. I'm Hazel from motherhood.com.my. Bye!